Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new here, my name is Kayla and I make videos about all things BPD. Now, some of you might know that I'm currently completing my master's degree in counseling psychology, and I'm actually doing my thesis on self-compassion. Now, throughout my research and my own personal experience with practicing self-compassion, I have noticed the healing potential for those with BPD with self-compassion. Although self-compassion has been discussed in Eastern philosophy, Buddhism in particular, for centuries now, it only recently appeared in the psychological literature after the publication of 2 articles by Neff. So you might be wondering, what is self-compassion? Self-compassion essentially is acting the same way towards yourself when you experience failure or difficult time as you would towards other. So instead of ignoring the pain mentally, you stop and acknowledge the fact that this is really difficult right now, and you ask yourself, how can I comfort myself in these difficult times? Self-compassion has 3 main components. The first one being self-kindness. Now, this one is all about extending kindness to ourselves rather than harsh judgments. The second component of self-compassion is the common humanity. So it's seeing our experiences as a part of the larger human experience. So it's all about saying this is happening to all of us rather than this is happening to just me. And the last component of self-compassion is mindfulness. So this one is all about holding our pain and suffering in balanced awareness rather than over-identifying with it. Although conceptually distinct, these components are not mutually exclusive. So what I mean by this is that the non-judgmental stance of mindfulness actually lessens harsh self-criticism and enhances this component of self-kindness. At the same time, mindfulness allows us to place ourselves within the broader human context, which fights off feelings of isolation and enhances the other component of the common humanity. Now, I have sometimes heard people say that self-compassion is self-centered, and to this I have to say, hell no. Self-compassion is the opposite of this. Rather than over-identifying with our problems, we are placing them in the larger human context to see that failures, inadequacies, and suffering are all part of the human condition, and that we're not special and unique in experiencing these things. So self-compassion really helps to break those egocentric feelings of saying this is happening to only me, and to place our experiences within the larger human context. Over the years, there has been so much research that shows the benefits of self-compassion. Now, self-compassion increases life satisfaction, joy, happiness, social connection. It also decreases things such as depression, anxiety, rumination. There's also been studies on self-compassion in BPD that shows that self-compassion actually speeds up the recovery process and allows us to reparent ourselves. And for those of you who are curious to read all this fantastic literature, I will just link them in the show notes down below. But what I mean by reparenting ourselves is that oftentimes with those with BPD who have experienced trauma in early life, they develop an insecure attachment style. Self-compassion actually allows us to reparent ourselves as adults by giving ourselves the love and validation that a good parent would do, and it allows us to provide ourselves with the love that we maybe didn't receive as a child, so we can actually switch our attachment style from insecure to secure as an adult with the help of self-compassion. There's many ways that you can practice self-compassion, and one of them is to practice forgiveness. So stop punishing yourself for your mistakes. Acknowledge the fact that you're not perfect, and be kind with yourself when you experience shortcomings. Another thing that you can do is to employ a growth mindset. Now, this is all about embracing challenges rather than avoiding them. This is about finding meaning in difficulty, and with self-compassion, we can adopt this growth mindset about the suffering that we are experiencing in our lives. Carol Dweck has great books on this, which I will add to the show notes down below for those of you who are interested in learning more about growth mindset in light of self-compassion and how this can be really beneficial to the healing journey. Other things that we can do is to practice gratitude, so acknowledging the things that we are grateful in our lives, and of course to practice formal self-compassion meditation. So Neff and Christopher Germer have great free resources, free guided meditations. I will link those down below as well. Some of my favorite are the self-compassion break and the loving kindness meditation. They're really 2 of my favorite self-compassion meditations. And the last suggestion of how to practice self-compassion that I will recommend is to practice practical self-compassion. What I mean by this is doing actionable things that are showing kindness to yourself. So going to bed early, drinking a cup of tea, going for a walk, taking a bath. And before, I didn't really used to think that those things were self-compassion because I wasn't practicing meditation while doing so. But treating yourself with kindness and respect is an act of love and self-compassion towards yourself. I could literally talk about this for hours. I'm very passionate about this subject, but that is essentially the big overview of what self-compassion is, what are the benefits, how can we practice it, and how is this beneficial overall for those with BPD. I'll also be doing a more in-depth video about what it means to reparent ourselves and how we can do this, because I know that some of you might be curious about this whole aspect of the attachment styles in regard to BPD and how we can shift those from insecure to secure. So on that note, if you want to make sure to not miss this video, be sure to hit the subscribe button down below, as well as the bell notification up top to get notified when I do post more videos every Monday. And another thing that you can do to support my channel is to hit the like button down below. It's really good for the YouTube algorithm, and the more people that see this, the more people that get information about BPD, and the more we help to break down this stigma surrounding it. On that note, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you back here next time for another episode of On the Line.